Another day in the Big Brother 26 house with Leah winning the veto yesterday. We have to talk about some unfortunate conversations between Leah and Quinn that are getting so cringy and hard to watch. Um, Quinn, as we've talked about a ton on this channel already this season, being this utter simp for Leah, has reached new levels, in my opinion, these last 2 days on feeds. Honestly, I can't watch their conversations anymore in the HOH with Quinn doing nothing but giving her compliments yesterday, which is going viral on Twitter with all the... It's funny, I will say, but it's very humiliating for Quinn. Hopefully one day he will watch this back and see how pathetic he was being with that whole situation. I think at this point I would rather watch Chemo's burping and slurping over any of Quinn and Leah's conversations going forward. Because Quinn, dude, please get it together. Please have some self-respect. I mean, him already admitting to the cameras that he's just weak in the situation and he knows Leah's gonna stab him in the back at some point is just like, what are we doing? Why are you even letting this happen when you know it's happening? I just don't understand. Leah winning the veto, though, as I said yesterday, there was the possibility of her using it on Angela. There still is the possibility of her using it on Angela. But Angela's idea is to not even try and push Leah to do this. She also didn't pick Leah when she got a chance to pick someone to compete in the veto. So, per usual, Angela probably playing this all wrong. And at the same time, Leah maybe wants to do this. She's talking about how she wants to keep Angela around for a possible jury vote for her. Sure. But also, I'm certain Leah probably saw that the last time somebody used their veto on Angela didn't really work out for that person, because the people that work with Angela the closest are usually the people that she is coming after. It happened to Tucker. It could happen to Leah if she really goes and tries to use this veto on Angela. Another thing that happened in the conversation between Ken and Leah, which was hard to watch, but I went through it yesterday. I couldn't continue to go through it today, though. But yesterday during their conversation, Leah was asking Quinn that if she hadn't won veto, or what was her plan, what was his plan before she won veto and the veto was used, Quinn bringing up how she would have to make people pick Skittles and the person with the green Skittle would be his renom, which once again just says a lot about Quinn's game. That it's copying someone from the past. That's all Quinn has tried to do this season, is play like past players that he saw play before rather than be his own individual. But this also speaks to his game of him not having an idea of how to play his HOH. This is where he went wrong, winning HOH, making all these alliances again, or wanting to make all these alliances again, allying with a bunch of people, and not thinking about the possibility that he may have to make a renom. From one annoying superfan to another, we'll move on to Joseph. Joseph has been just really showing how terrible his social game has become in the house. Yesterday, telling Angela that she's probably going home, she better win AI Arena. Angela wanted him to try and talk to Quinn for her. He said he couldn't do it, and that Angela just needs to win AI Arena or she's going home, which was really dumb to say to Angela, who spirals, but whatever. And then today, he's telling MJ that she basically sucks at the game, which granted she does, but still, Joseph's telling MJ that she's only good at competitions, the rest of her game sucks. If he's sitting next to her in a final two, he'll beat her. That basically anyone could beat MJ in a final two. This is how to put a target on yourself 101, though. I think Joseph is spitting facts to MJ that her game does suck. I've been saying this all along. But you don't tell us to her face. It's not like she's on the block this week. It's not like she's going home this week. So why are you even putting this out there? Joseph, I guess, starting to spiral himself because He put all his eggs in the Tucker basket, and that's when his game took a nosedive. Him thinking he could beat Tucker was never smart, but it's what he thought for some reason. And in thinking that, he put so many eggs in the Tucker basket, everyone caught on to that. And now I guess he doesn't know what to do. I don't really know why Joseph's going around saying all these things to people. I know part of it is his gigantic ego, which thinks he's playing this great game that he's not playing. But still, I don't know why he thinks he could tell everyone this. I think Joseph is like trying to use some sort of psychology where if he says this to people, that his game's this great, they'll believe it. But there are smart players left in this game that just already see what Joseph's doing, and what he's doing isn't working. He tried to squash some beef with Chelsea today, which may have worked. I mean, they've been kind of targeting each other this week on the low. I think they both see the other as a threat to their games, which is probably true. So it was good of them to have this conversation. It was a long conversation, though, which of course also made Angela start to spiral because she thinks that Joseph's going around spreading things about her because of their confrontation yesterday. Angela has it out for Joseph. But it also has Leah concerned because she's sort of close to Joseph. And Joseph is a number for her. So she goes to Quinn, telling Quinn that Joseph needs to calm it down. But I think part of the reason maybe Joseph had that conversation is that Quinn has tried to tell Joseph today that he's doing a little much. And he is doing more than a little much. I will say Joseph's idea earlier yesterday to have Quinn put up Chelsea was probably best for Joseph's game, because looking at the numbers, if somehow he was to convince Quinn to put up Chelsea, and if after AI Arena it's Chelsea and Rubina on the block, I think there is actually a strong chance that they get out Chelsea, because then Tikor has to make a decision of who to vote out. But you could already have Leah would vote Chelsea out in that scenario. I think Leah does see Chelsea as the threat that she is. So they have Leah's vote. They would have Joseph's vote. I guess the squandered vote could be Angela's now. But before Joseph squandered that, they could have got Angela to vote out Chelsea had they tried. And then they would have just needed one more vote, which probably would have been Chemo, who would have came off the block. So I think they would have had the votes to get out Chelsea this week, which would have been good for Joseph's game and maybe even Leah's game. So Joseph had the right idea for his game there, but unfortunately the HOH is Quinn, who has kind of boxed himself in with that trio of Chelsea, Cam, and MJ, which once again speaks to Quinn's awful gameplay. He didn't have to box himself in with that trio, but he has problems with Angela. He decided to win this HOH, which means he had to kind of show his cards that he's turning on Chemo, Rubina. He really did box himself into this situation. So I don't know if it would be best for Quinn's game to put up Chelsea at this point in time, because they've been connecting about how they want to take each other far in this game, which I think only helps Chelsea right now because Quinn's game has been such a mess. Rubina's idea to fight for herself while she's on the block is that they should once again try and create a women's alliance in the house. And while it's not the worst idea, because there are a lot of strong women players left in the game for once, the problem is that Rubina has already tried to do this, and others have already tried to do this. But because Rubina has boxed herself in so hardcore with Chemo, nobody's going to actually buy it to be a thing. So she and Tikor can go over this scenario about how they should create a women's alliance, but it's probably not going to work, because none of these alliances are working. All of these alliances that they keep trying to make just continue to implode, which is making for a great game to watch, in my opinion. But I get their sentiment. It's an idea to try and keep Rubina safe. I just don't think it's going to work. And of course, T-Core wants to do it while also adding chemo because that would be best for T-Core's game. But of course, Chelsea's not going to go for it because she's working with Cam. And Leah's not going to go for it because she has numbers in Quinn and Joseph because she has them wrapped around her finger. I guess the rest of the week really depends on the veto. I don't know if Leah will use the veto because, as I've talked about, she is a floater and she's a good floater. And I think she knows that, even though her game to me is very one-dimensional in that floating. She's good at the one thing she does right. Well, I guess the other thing she does right is, get these nerds to simp for her. But she could have had more simps, but she kind of blew it with Cam earlier this season, when she kind of kept throwing him under the bus, and now Cam doesn't really mess with her like that. In fact, I think she talks more about Cam than Cam even thinks about her. Cam continues to play his low-key, under-the-radar, chill game that is working out for him for now. It was nice to hear that, much like Cam, Leah talking about today that she did try to not play at the beginning of the game. She wanted to take it slow, and that is what she did. So I can't fault her for that, even though it's not my favorite thing to see in the house, is somebody not really start playing until the middle of the game. But I also kind of understand it. It is a long game. I don't necessarily respect it, I guess, but it makes sense for Leah's game. And I do think Leah is doing good right now. I do think using the veto will put more eyes on her, though, because she has to show some cards. And in order to be the good floater that she is being so far, the reason it's working is because she does not show a lot of cards. So using the veto on Angela it's a little too bold for the game that Leah is currently playing. She could do it, and then we have to see who Quinn renoms. Does he do the Skittle idea? Will the house push for Joseph to be the renom because he's pissing everybody off with his awful social game right now? That remains to be seen. Or Leah could not use the veto and maybe try and save Angela in a different way to rally votes either against Chemo or against Rubina. I assume Leah would want Chemo out the most out of those three because Chemo is also coming for Leah. That's where everything stands right now. We will see if Leah uses the veto or not tomorrow and then see what transpires from there.